One power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power, invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power, indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Midtown, Atlanta. You are welcome. Such is the nature of life that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity to appear. You are that opportunity, and so am I. So it is. Whoever you are, whatever brought you here today, please be blessed and know that you are welcomed and celebrated. We know who you are. You're an individualized expression of the divine life in which we all live. We are life's opportunity to be someone unique and wonderful. Whatever your ethnic background, your religious affiliation, however you know yourself or describe yourself, we are glad you're joining us here today. You're welcome to become a part of this community in whatever way serves you. And here's our vision statement. We are a strong, open, globally connected community centered on the clarity of principle through teaching, service, and practice. We create a safe and respectful environment that supports healthy spiritual growth. And now, for a better understanding of who we are, listen to our Declaration of Principles as written by our founder, Ernest Holmes.
A few of the Declaration of Principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful, hey.
So a practitioner is someone who has demonstrated the ability to use spiritual practice and spiritual laws to bring about great changes in their lives. And they've also demonstrated that they know how to bring about these changes in others when asked. Licensed by Centers for Spiritual Living, they are available to you to provide spiritual guidance and support in whatever area of your life that you need help with. And you can reach them on our website, cslmidtown.org. Today, we've got one of our amazing practitioners with us to share good ideas and an affirmative prayer called a spiritual mind treatment. Welcome, Maya Fuller.
Much. You're reading CSL Midtown. We are wrapping up May here and heading into June and the beginning of summer. And I am excited to be here with you this morning to explore something that feels perfectly timed for the season. You probably see travel content on social media, those glamorous posts from exotic beaches and faraway places. Many people dream about that kind of lifestyle. I know I did. And right now, dear friends, I am living it. For the past 2 months, my husband and I have been living on the stunning coast of Da Nang, Vietnam. Picture this: golden sand, the warm sea, fresh tropical drinks, beachside cabanas, a majestic mountainscape in the background, the whole relaxed beach vibe you see in the pictures. And next month, we're heading to Thailand. It's real and it's our life. But here's what's not shown in those Instagram posts. For years, I was a regular person living a regular life in a regular, awesome American city. To anyone looking at my life, there was zero evidence that I'd ever live this way. And yet, I was training myself. Every single day, I was practicing the habit of knowing myself as a citizen of the world, an international traveler. I was habitually thinking and speaking about myself as someone who lived abroad and traveled the world extensively before any of it was physically real. And that mental habit has become my reality. Now, my dream is travel. Yours might be something completely different, but we're all doing the same inner work. Our thoughts become our words. Our words become our actions. Our actions become our habits. And our habits become who we are. This is what the science of mind teaches. This is the magic of manifestation, that your habitual thoughts create your identity. The practice comes before the proof. The consciousness comes before the experience. When you train your mind to know who you are, the outer world eventually aligns with that knowing. This morning, Reverend Dr. Cynthia Paulsen is going to teach us about how our daily habits support our spiritual well-being and transform our lives. She's going to pop the hood and show us the mechanics behind what I'm describing. And if you've ever heard Dr. Paulsen speak, you know she's a masterful speaker and teacher who brings depth and heart to these teachings with an engaging delivery. So, let's move into our spiritual mind treatment to prepare our minds to receive the good word that's to come. I invite you to settle into your space. If it feels safe and comfortable, close your eyes. Take a breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let your mind become open. I'm going to speak this treatment in the first person, using I language, so that your own consciousness can accept these truths as they resonate with you. Your mind will know which parts are meant for you. I am so grateful and thankful right now that I know the truth that there is but one life. That life is God. And that life expresses as all of creation. This life responds to thought. This life knows itself through consciousness. This life is the creative medium through which all form, all circumstance, all reality is made manifest. I open my mind and heart to the truth that my habitual thoughts create my identity, and my identity shapes my world. I recognize that before circumstances shift, before the outer world reflects my desires, I first practice being who I say I am. From this knowing, I claim the power to practice new habits of thoughts. I train my consciousness to know myself as the person I am becoming. I speak myself into this new identity. I think as this person thinks. I feel as this person feels. I act as this person acts. Even now, even before my world catches up with my vision, I'm becoming who I say I am. I'm living the life I practice in my mind. I am aligning my inner world with my outer world through habitual thought and intentional identity shifting. So I give thanks for this understanding, for this power that lives through me, for communities like CSL Midtown that support this becoming. I give thanks for spiritual teachers like Dr. Cynthia who guide me in understanding how to apply these principles in my life. I give thanks that I am set free by my consciousness and that I am not bound by my circumstances. I now release these words into the creative medium of life, and law moves to make it so. It all is unfolding perfectly. And so it is. Amen. Now let's take a moment to enjoy some music for reflection as we prepare to receive today's message.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light
It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker this morning. As Maya said, Dr. Cynthia Paulsen. She's a friend of ours. She's been here for quite a while after moving to Oregon. She's still coming back to see us and give us some knowledge from what she's learned. So, known for her down-to-earth teaching style, Cynthia makes spiritual principles practical, accessible, and relevant. Through her books, talks, and private practice, and daily social media videos, you can keep in touch with her. She encourages people to reconnect with their inner wisdom and live with greater peace, purpose, and possibility. She's the author of Undoing the Knots, Reclaiming Our Good, and That's a Good Thought, Daily Wisdom in an Uncertain World. Welcome, Cynthia. We're glad you're here.
Thank you, Vance. Thank you, Maya. Wow, I'm so impressed and happy for her. She is such a testament to these principles. So, yay, Maya, how exciting. Yes, today we are going to talk about our daily habits, our habits in general. Now, I would bet at this point that tuning in here every Sunday morning has become a habit for most of you. You tune in because you like it and you are spiritually fed and inspired, but it's also become a habit, right? It's what you do on Sunday mornings. We have weekly habits and we have daily habits because human beings are creatures of habit. So I saw a statistic recently that just blew my mind and I could not get over it. And it's really what made me want to make this talk and talk about this today. 40 to 50% of our daily actions are habitual as opposed to conscious choices. Can you believe that? That means that nearly half of our behaviors are done on autopilot just because we did them the day before. I think that's crazy. I think that's something that we want to think about and maybe look at, Because the thing about habits is that they often seem, small and ordinary, maybe just inconsequential, but we know that over time they can shape the direction of our lives. So what kinds of things am I talking about here? Let me just throw out a few random examples. You going directly to that coffee pot first thing in the morning when you get out of bed. That's certainly a habit for a lot of us. Maybe immediately getting on your phone when you get up to check the news, check the weather, check the stock market, check your email, check whatever, grabbing that phone first thing in the morning. Taking the same supplements every day can be a habit. Going to the gym could be a habit. Maybe some of you do that. Maybe you write in a journal every day, or you do a crossword puzzle every day, or you play the Wordle. Any Wordlers out there? I play the Wordle every day. Maybe you like to have a little sweet treat every afternoon, a little pick me up. Maybe you have a glass of wine every night when you're fixing dinner. That could certainly be a habit. Watering the plants could be a habit. Checking on your garden, walking the dog after dinner. That's a habit that my husband and I do. Watching a TV show every night. Maybe you have little herbal tea, while you're watching TV every night before bed, or you do some yoga and stretches before bed. All these different habits that we can have. Now, one thing I want to make clear is that this talk is not about good habits versus bad habits. That's not what this is about today. Human beings love to label everything we do as either good or bad. A couple of weeks ago, I was visiting a spiritual center. I won't say which one, and they were doing a potluck after their service. So we're all, on this big table eating together. And after we all ate, they had fresh from the oven chocolate chip cookies that they were passing around on a plate. And normally I wouldn't grab a cookie. I'm not really a cookie person. I'm plenty of a cookie person, but they were warm and they looked so good. So I helped myself to a cookie and they passed the plate. And the woman next to me says, "Oh, no, thank you. I'm trying to be good." And she says that just as I'm, digging into my cookie here. And I thought, wait, does that mean I'm being bad for choosing this cookie? I felt so judged in that moment. So, good or bad, this is not coming from a place of judgment today. I don't care what your bad habits are, CSL Midtown. You can continue doing them, but I do care about your good habits for sure. And that's really what we're going to talk about. What is a good habit anyway, especially like from a spiritual perspective? For the purpose of this talk, I would define a good habit as a behavior pattern or a practice that benefits and improves your life, something that nurtures your mind, body, spirit, something that supports your well being. And I would dare say that, a good habit can be something that supports your spiritual health and your spiritual well being, your relationship with the divine, God, spirit, universe, source, whatever you call it. I think we would agree that that would be a good habit. So we're going to pause here for a moment because I want you to actually think about this. I want you to think about how you would answer this question. I'm going to put the question up for you. What is one thing you do every day that genuinely makes your life better? What comes to mind? And then the next question is, what is one thing you do daily that supports your well being, your body, spirit, and your connection to the divine? What's coming to mind when you look at those questions? I just want you to think about that and have that in the back of your mind. When I was working on this talk, I asked my husband those questions. What's one thing you do every day that makes your life better? We were out to dinner and he thought about it and he got this kind of frustrated scowl on his face. And he said, I just don't think like that. And I thought it was so funny because that's the point. None of us think like that, and that's why I'm asking you today. Our habits are our habits because we don't think about them. We just do them. We don't pay conscious attention to them. So, why are our habits anyway? How does this even work? There's a great book by Charles Duhigg called The Power of Habit. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it and read it, and he really breaks this down. And by the way, he says in the book that our habits are not good or bad. They are actually a neutral response. Habits are just our brain making things simpler for us. So he describes the process of how habits work, and he calls it the habit loop. That's why if you've seen the book, it looks like there's like a hamster wheel on it. The habit loop, and there are three parts to the habit loop. The first part is the cue. That is the trigger that tells your brain to start the habit. It activates things, okay? And the second part of the habit loop is the routine. That's the action that you take in response to the cue. That's the behavior that ends up becoming the habit. And then the last part of the habit, part three, is the reward. That's what your brain gets from doing the behavior. It's what motivates the habit and reinforces the loop. Isn't this so interesting? So, the more you repeat a habit, the more it gets embedded in your brain and the more effortless it becomes. The more it becomes habitual and, we're doing it without thinking about it. So, let's go through a few examples. First thing in the morning, that can be a cue. Time of day can be a trigger for a habit. So, you just woke up and that makes you go to the coffee pot. That's your routine, that's your action. You fix the coffee, you drink a cup of coffee, and it is delicious. And you feel more awake and alert, and you're starting to function, right? That's your benefit. That's your reward. Boom, you just made a habit loop. It's easy to repeat this every day, isn't it? Let's do another example. You're feeling a little tired and bored in the afternoon, and that is your trigger and your cue to wander into the break room if you're at work, right? Or if you're at home, maybe you're retired, you wander into the kitchen. That's your action and your response to that cue of feeling bored. You find a little sweet treat, maybe a little piece of chocolate or a piece of candy. You eat it and you get this great hit of dopamine. Doesn't that feel good? It feels so satisfying, doesn't it? That feeling is your reward. If you repeat this enough times, you could see how that could become a little habit, right? Now, I think for a lot of us these days, that a cue and a trigger that we're experiencing is us and the fear that we're all feeling. I don't know if you've looked out there lately, but sometimes the world feels pretty overwhelming. We've got, constant news and global conflicts, just a lot of uncertainty out there, right? What habits are we potentially forming from the trigger of, the national news, world events? What are we doing with that trigger? This subject is so near and dear to my heart because I really feel this and struggle with this personally. How to navigate and handle these times that we're living in spiritually. I think about it so much that I wrote a book about it. I'm going to talk about that in a second. We cannot control the world. We know that. But we can take a moment today to notice what we're choosing to do with this cue. How we're responding, what our behaviors and actions and habits are. The idea is to consciously choose ones that support our well being, our spiritual well being, ones that give us that reward of a deeper connection with the divine and that reward of feeling at peace. I mean, I think we'd all agree that would be a beautiful habit loop, right? So, what I'm talking about here really is the habit of a daily habit of spiritual practice. Now, I want to be clear that I don't necessarily mean religion or dogma or doctrine. We don't really do that here at CSL. I just mean creating a moment each day to remember who we really are and to reconnect with our spiritual truth. This is a behavior that, remember, if repeated enough, will become a habit and it will cultivate that peaceful, comforting, faith reinforcing reward that I think we all want and that we're all looking for. So, what are some of these behaviors and practices that we can use? Now, obviously, prayer and meditation are probably the two biggest ones that we're going to think about. We know how much Ernest Holmes wrote and taught about the power of affirmative prayer and spiritual mind treatment. And as far as meditation goes, I found this beautiful quote from The Science of Mind, where he said, "To meditate daily on the perfect life is a royal road to freedom, to that peace that passes understanding." That's what we're looking for. That's what we want and need. Prayer and meditations are actions that lead us to the reward of peace. And if we do this enough, it can become a habit. It could be something that we choose on autopilot. Now, I could talk about a lot of other daily spiritual practice habits, journaling, walking in nature, having a gratitude practice. But I really want to talk about reading spiritual wisdom as a daily habit, and specifically using daily readers. Sometimes they're called daily devotionals or daily meditations. It's just a page a day. Now, I am going to talk about my own daily reader book that I wrote that just came out. But before I do that, I have to make this clear that I did not invent this concept by any means. There are so many spiritual traditions that offer short daily readings to help people develop the habit, to help people get grounded spiritually. I mean, Science of Mind magazine has the daily guides in there every month, and that's been in publication for many, many years. Ernest Holmes wrote a daily reader, 365 Science of Mind. He also wrote with Raymond Charles Barker, 365 Days of Richer Living. That's another great one. Unity Church has the Daily Word. That's a daily reader. The Daily Word magazine. Divine Science, one of the precursors to Centers for Spiritual Living, has a daily study email subscription that you can get, and it's just a couple paragraphs a day. There are so many places where you can do this and practice this. And I don't just write this kind of stuff, I practice it every day myself. And that's how much I believe in this practice. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my habit of using this practice. Um, in the morning, before I even get out of bed, one of the first things I do is I grab my phone. No, you're not supposed to do that right away in the morning, but I grab my phone and I open up an app called The Awakened Way. It was created by Suzanne Giesemann, and it's a daily inspiring channeled message from Spirit. And it's just like a paragraph, and she'll have a beautiful picture with it. And it's just a powerful way to start my day. Now, toward the middle of the day, or whenever I get into my office and get around to checking my emails, I open up the Divine Science daily study email I was telling you about. Again, it's just a couple paragraphs. And another really good one is the Notes from the Universe. That one, that's another email one. It's from tut.com. It's tut.com. Those are really short and fun and inspirational. Now, at the end of the day, when I'm getting ready for bed, I read a daily reader called A Year on the Journey. It's written by a CSL practitioner out of Reno. I used to go to CSL Reno, and her name's Deanna Alcorn Smith. And that one is a great little wind down before bed. So these brief readings throughout the day, and by the way, you don't have to do so many per day. I'm just the way I am, and everything to excess, right? So you could do just one a day, certainly. But these readings give me a moment to pause, to contemplate, to reconnect with my spiritual truth. And one thing I noticed about this habit of mine after learning about that habit loop, I really could see that time of day is typically my cue for this habit, for going to the daily reader. But I was thinking that I could easily train myself to do one of these readings, right after I check the news. I could go from reading the news, feeling stressed out, feeling the uncertainty and maybe the fear, and then go right to a short, grounded spiritual reading. That could become my habit. So I thought we would test this together in real time. In a moment, I'm going to do the weirdest thing I have ever done while giving a talk. I'm going to pick up my phone and check the news. That's really weird, right? And I'm just going to share a couple headlines. I don't know what's going on. I haven't looked at anything yet today. But I'm just going to share maybe one or two, maybe three. I think that will be plenty to get us all good and stressed out. And then I'm going to read three short excerpts from my book. Let me tell you a little bit about this book. This book, like Vance said, it's called That's a Good Thought, Daily Wisdom in an Uncertain World. This book was my required project for my doctorate through Emerson Theological Institute. Shout out to them. And so this is a daily reader that offers reflections, questions, self-inquiry, mindfulness practices, affirmations, different spiritual practices. It's designed to help people pause and reconnect with spiritual truth. That is why I wrote it. It's just a page a day, and each entry ends one of four ways. It either has an affirmation at the end that you can affirm and take into prayer or contemplation. Some of them have an ask, which is a question for you to journal about or to just consider. Some of them have an act prompt, which is an action step, a suggestion of something to do or a way to act. And then some of them end with an affirmative prayer. So I chose three entries that not only go with this talk about habits, but they can demonstrate how powerful a short, simple reading can really be to redirect us. And we'll see if we feel that peaceful, comforting benefit that could feed into a habit loop. So if you'll excuse me and how rude this is, I'm going to check my phone and just share with you what I see here. I'm going to go with AP News. I usually use like European news sources, but we'll go American today with AP News. Okay, let's see what's happening. Israeli army captures strategic castle in Lebanon in deepest incursion into the country in 26 years. Let's see what else is happening here. Oh dear. What to know about the outbreak of a rare kind of Ebola as cases outpace the response. U.S. strike on an alleged drug boat kills 3 in the Eastern Pacific Ocean in the 4th attack this week. Yeah, that's good. That's enough of that. Okay. So the first entry I'm going to read is from January 22nd. This one is called Lift Your Consciousness. Even a brief look at world events reported in the news makes us realize how challenging it is to remain spiritually positive, uplifted, and focused on the good. How can we do this when such awful things are happening in the world? Scary news days are a great reminder that each one of us has the opportunity to show up in the world as peace, radiating peace in all our daily interactions. We always have the free will to consciously refuse to engage and participate in days filled with difficult news and accounts of violence or generally heartbreaking information. If you see hatred in the world, you can concentrate on the truth that God is love and therefore you are love. If there is sadness in the world, you can know that God is joy and therefore you are an expression of that joy. If there's violence in the world, you can remember that God is peace and you are an expression of peace. Choose to lift your consciousness in these moments. Choose to remember the truth of who and what you are. You are divine. Ends with an affirmation. Affirm. No matter what happens in the news, I am the opportunity to show up as the divine. And then the next one I'm going to read is from March 24th, and it's called Work It, or as I like to say, work it. New Thought minister and author Johnny Coleman published a book titled It Works If You Work It, which reminds us to step up our spiritual practice game, the work we do to maintain connection with our true divine self. Spiritual practice can look like different things for different people. Reading spiritual books is a spiritual practice. You're doing it right now. Other spiritual practices include meditation, prayer, journaling, exploring nature, chanting, sound baths, attending spiritual services. You're doing that now too. Yoga, gratitude, sitting in the silence, writing affirmations, etc. Spiritual practice is our work that works when we work it, because it brings us closer to and more in alignment with the divine. It not only improves our life experience, it is our life experience. This one ends with an ask. Ask, what is the daily work I do to remember my truth? And then the last one I'll share is called Just 5 Minutes from August 29th. A dog trainer once explained that most people feel like they never have enough time in the day to really invest in training their dog. We all want a well-trained dog, but we don't want to do the work to get it. It feels like an overwhelming task, and we end up living with an untrained dog instead. Pointed out that if you can spare just 5 minutes a day to commit to working with your dog, you will see improvement in your dog's behavior in a matter of days. Just that little bit of time, 5 minutes a day, can make a big difference over time. This idea applies to anything we want to accomplish. If you spend just 5 minutes a day focused on your spirituality, on your relationship with the divine, reading something inspirational, connecting with a like-minded spiritual friend, etc., you will see a positive impact in your life. Spending 5 minutes a day connecting with Source in whatever way you want is a form of self-care. It keeps you in balance and gives you a dedicated moment to check in with the truth of who and what you are. This one concludes with an action. Act. You can spare 5 minutes a day. Reading this entry took less than 2. So I might be a little biased, but I feel better. I feel better. It really only takes a couple minutes. Now, some of the habits that we have take a lot more than a couple minutes. They end up eating up time in our day. We waste some time wandering into the kitchen every day, looking for our little sweet treat. It takes a while to brew a pot of coffee every morning. It takes me half an hour to walk the dog at the end of the day after dinner. Maybe I should be training her during that time too. But our spiritual practices do not have to be a huge, inconvenient thing and so time consuming. If you follow me on social media, you know that my videos that I post are always short. Instagram, TikTok, and I know that a lot of you are in my Facebook group. It's one word, one thought, one question. And I post videos every single day, and they are always under 90 seconds, a minute and a half. They're just a little burst of spirituality to ground us and remind us of our truth. Joel Goldsmith also taught that spiritual practice did not have to be long and complicated. He wrote The Infinite Way. He's a New Thought mystic, so prolific. He wrote many books. And he suggested having short periods throughout the day for just a few minutes at a time where we pause, become still, and return to the awareness of God. And he referred to this as practicing the presence. And he called it the primary spiritual habit, practicing the presence. Little bursts, little actions that lead to spiritually rewarding benefits and reinforce that habit loop. So before I wrap up, I want to return to that question that I asked you earlier. The question was, what is one thing you do every day that genuinely makes your life better, that supports your well-being? Hopefully by now, something has come to mind. If you do have a good habit, awesome, keep doing it. You can always add another one. If you don't feel like you have a good habit or you want to add one, this is your call to action. What is one small habit that you could begin today? Because small habits, practice daily, transform a life. I promise, when we work it. Thank you so much for having me, CSL Midtown, and I hope that you join me on the Zoom.
Thank you, Reverend Cynthia, Dr. Cynthia. What an awesome talk and great ideas. And I know we have a daily reading habit, so that's awesome. So we will see you over on Zoom. And anybody that wants to join us, it's online now. It's not already on Zoom. You can go to cslmidtown.org, scroll down to Zoom, and click on the link. It'll take you into that meeting. And we'll see you just a few minutes when we finish up here. Thanks a lot. All right. Now it's time for our new minister, Sacred Covenant, Easy Prayer. There we go. This is the abbreviated version. The full version is available on the website. So you would read this with me. There's only one life. This life is God, and I am one with it. I know my new minister is a revelation of Spirit as principle, fulfilling God's promise. For his principle is not bound by precedent, but operates according to law for those who align with it. Together with my community, I see my new minister inspiring spiritual oneness through wisdom, love, and authenticity. One that is awakened to inner wisdom communicates universal truth, and serves as a conduit of divine love, wisdom, and healing energy. One that recognizes the inherent wholeness within all beings and offers teachings grounded in spiritual principles to cultivate inner transformation. One that extends love, compassion, and Spirit's transformative power into the wider community, fostering connections that heal and uplift individuals on their unique journeys. As I accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know that it will be revealed in a way that expresses Spirit and serves the highest good of all touched by their presence. I'm grateful that God is good, and so it is. And now it's time for conscious giving. You can donate at cslmidtown.org/donate, or scan the QR code. It'll take you right there. And I want to ask everybody listening that may not be contributing now, if you're fed by this talk, the spiritual knowledge that we are sharing with you every single week, just $100 a month would make a big difference to us. So consider that. I know you can do it once. You can set up an ongoing contribution here, and we would appreciate it because we're here to serve you. Here's our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow. And all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. All right. I've got a couple of announcements. Next Sunday, we are back in person. It's the first Sunday in June. We'll have a potluck. We meet at the Garden Hills Community Center in Atlanta. So if you're in Atlanta, please join us. I want to thank Maya for being our practitioner today. Next Sunday, we've got Reverend Susan Zoller from SLCA, and her talk is In Praise of Sensible Underwear. That should be very interesting. If you want to dive deeper into these spiritual concepts, there's an adult study group that meets at 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings on Zoom. So you can get there by going to cslmidtown.org, click on the Zoom link. They're going over the Science of Mind textbook. You don't have to have already read the reading to join and participate in the study group. So you're welcome to join, whether you've read it or not. And that's a great thing. That book is amazing. It's transformative. So let's do our affirmation of life. And I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. So it is. Week, everybody, and we'll see you either on Zoom or next week. Bye.
Hey, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey, oh yeah, grateful. I just say I am so grateful every day for all I have. Every day, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all I have. I just count my blessings. I just count my blessings.
There is a power for good in the universe greater than